Welcome to No Free Lunch, Africa's freshest business and tech podcast. And our discussion today is with Charles Savage, the CEO and founder of Easy Equities and the CEO of JSE listed Purple Group. Charles is a highly regarded fintech pioneer in South Africa, having taken his vision of making investing accessible to ordinary people rather than just high net worth individuals, and built a successful enterprise now with over 1 million active clients with assets under administration in the tens of billions of rands. Welcome to No Free Lunch, Charles.
Good. Thanks very much, man. It's a pleasure to be on. Look forward to the discussion.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, the catalyst for our discussion today was the Purple team's acquisition of Telescope AI, a big moment for the group. And congratulations on completing the deal.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's a transaction that started, look, I met Luke almost 10 years ago, so I guess it started all the way back then. But in earnest, we started discussions in November last year. And an extraordinary amount of energy and effort goes into these transactions. And yeah, very proud that we managed to get it over the line and can welcome him and his team to the Purple Group.
I'm sure that there must have been a lot of negotiations and finding common ground amongst the deal, but you have worked with the group, as you said, for a long time. And my understanding was, I think Easy Equities was the first platform to use or utilize Telescope AI's platform.
Yeah, we implemented, I met him 10 years ago. We implemented one of his products 2 years ago, which allows our customers to have a conversation with an AI bot and create a portfolio, what we call AI baskets, and a portfolio across the world. It's really simple. It's simple in the concept, but really complex in the execution. And I was just super impressed by firstly, their vision for what AI could do in an investing landscape. There was certainly a marriage of culture. They felt like they were part of the team from the minute we started working with them. And when you create such a strong affinity in such a short period of time with a product and a team, then the next obvious question is like, how do we maximize this? How do we do more together? What could we leverage from each other? And I hate the word synergies, but what could we produce if we brought the two businesses together? So it's been a long time in the coming, but very excited about what it will produce, both for the Purple Group, but most importantly for our customers.
I think one of the things for me is a lot of these acquisitions, especially in the AI world today, and there's lots happening in that environment. It's good to see that there's not just a product direction, but there's also a relationship direction and collaboration between yourselves and Telescope AI. And the deal worth about $10 million US, is that Aussie dollars, if you could just correct me there, but certainly worth $10 million US for a company that at this point in time is not showing profits. Are there projects and developments that is making this a good value proposition? Or is it simply a matter of you see an opportunity to expand into other markets, expand and scale outside of the South African borders where the majority of your business is currently held?
Yeah, I think, look, firstly, valuation is part science and part art. And, the science, it works in a mature industry. So it's easy for an analyst to value Sasol on the cash flows of Sasol. But in the world of AI and startup and venture capital, which is where Telescope AI fits, you can't do the valuations on the same basis that you would when you're valuing Sasol. So for us, there had to be a unity in terms of purpose and vision and product trajectory, and so that tick that box. We see the world the same way, and then we had to find common ground on valuation, and in part that was taking a leap of faith to say, what do they believe they can produce and what trajectory were they on in producing revenue? And they've done an extraordinary job. They've sold their platform and services into some of the largest brokers in the world. Our group listed on LSE and CMC in Australia, two of the most significant brokers in the world, and ourselves. And their revenue growth, whilst early, is impressive. And their runway for new revenue is also impressive in terms of who they're talking to. And in the very near future, I'm sure they'll announce some new deals that they're signing customers. But the other part of the transaction was, if we combine what they did with what we do, what could we produce and what outcomes how could it shift the trajectory of Purple Group? And really, we think about that in two ways. One is, how could it and would it and should it accelerate revenue, what we call ARPU, average revenue per customer? So will consumers pay for good AI tools to help them manage their investments better? We think they will. And so we want to deliver. Some of the tools will be for free, some will be for paid, some will be part of subscription services. But we intend to deliver lots of AI tools to help make investing easier, as well as to solve complex problems for investors. And so we do believe that our distribution and our partnerships will present the opportunity to increase our revenue per customer over time. The other side of AI is that we've proven to ourselves and Telescope to themselves that you can run a more efficient organization using AI. And if you really lean into it, you can employ less humans in the future as your business grows. And that journey sounds trivial. It sounds easy to execute, but actually the knowledge and understanding of AI, the learning curve to get to the point where you're comfortable that AI, or not just comfortable, you're demonstrably evidencing that AI can accelerate your product ambitions, your engineering ambitions, whilst reducing your cost, it takes time and effort. And what Telescope does is it accelerates those ambitions for us. They've proven it to themselves. They're a small, lean team running an enterprise software capability. And we think we can take some of those lessons and apply them in the group, and in the result, create a much more efficient organization. So have a much lower cost to serve as we produce more products and serve more customers. And so, it's the sum of those parts is why we bought the business. We love the business they've created, and the brokers they service, and we think that we can help them accelerate that through our own partnerships and positioning in South Africa. We love the products that they've built, and we think that our customers would benefit and pay for them on the platform. And the third part is we think they'll help us create greater efficiency in our income statement as we grow and support more customers. And the market will judge us in the coming months and years. There's one more piece which I think is kind of what I would call AI magic, which is in this transaction. I mean, for me, AI still feels like magic in some places. It's extraordinary to think how far it's come into the 2 years I've been using it. And the only way I can describe is that it keeps producing an unexpected outcome for me, which is kind of magic. And I think that when we combine AI with our data, with our customer and their behavior, I think we're going to create some product magic. I think we're going to discover some things that we hadn't thought about. And in then thinking about it, we're going to uncover new products and services that would never presented themselves without AI. And so I think there's a unicorn in the combination of these two businesses coming together, that when you combine their skill set, their talent, their experience, their IP with our distribution and our talent pool and our customer base and partners, that I think we're going to create some AI magic in the years ahead.
That sounds fantastic. And I think one of the key things that you touched on there was the fact that you've got that depth of data. And you've got that depth of data in very clear categories. And I think there's definitely a plug-in there that, if utilized correctly with the right people and the right thinking, certainly seems likely to produce some really interesting results. And certainly I want to hear about those new developments going forward if we ever get a chance. And I think that's quite an exciting time that lies ahead of you. Also, just going back to the deal a bit, quite a large percentage of the deal is tied up in regulated performance over time. And I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of this development. And it also holds the team together and keeps the people with the skills that you're looking for plugged into the development of the product, as opposed to perhaps walking away and starting something else themselves. So I think that for me was one of the key aspects of the deal, and congratulations on pulling that in part as well.
Yeah, Greg, you've hit the nail on the head. I'll just add the following, is that both parties have taken a leap of faith in each other. There's a swapping of equity and ambitions. And that means that both of us believe in each other's future. Both as separate entities, Telescope building its products and services, but Purple Group building its products and services. And I think that's where the right deals are won, is where both parties take a leap of faith in each other and essentially buy each other's currencies, their equity, their shares, for a medium to long-term future. None of us can see further than 5 years. In fact, right today, I can't see further than 12 months. But we've decided to get married for a minimum of 5 years. And my fundamental belief is that's just the starting point. I think that we will forge a much longer relationship because we've bought into each other's currencies. We're now joined at the hip. We've gone to the church and we've got married, and it's the prenuptial contracts of caste, and we both create extraordinary value for each other by both businesses working together. And I think we've had the right outcome in this deal.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big lesson. Our platform's focus is particularly on startups and entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. And we look to encourage that. And I think that's a really important lesson for entrepreneurs out there looking to start something, building something. When you get involved with partners, make sure there's a great alignment there and that your futures are linked together, because there's nothing worse than a bad partnership, isn't there?
Yeah, and entrepreneurship is probably my favorite topic in the whole world. But too often or not, I see entrepreneurs where they're unwilling to take a leap of faith with somebody else, whether that's a shareholder or a partner. And I think entrepreneurship stands on the shoulders of giants, and you have to, where you find common ground, common purpose, and you believe in the same things, then you have to find a way to get married. Those marriage contracts are hard to come across because everyone feels like they're giving up something, but they are worth it in the outcome. This is not our first time. We did it when we bought Easy Crypto. We did it when we bought Rise. We did it with Easy Property. So we've built a good methodology for doing this. But oftentimes I speak to entrepreneurs, they're unwilling to give anything up. They just want your capital. And I don't think that makes for the best marriages. I think both parties must feel like they're getting something and giving something up.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful insight there. And hopefully we get to have a few more discussions about entrepreneurship. I'd love to actually explore that further with you in the future. But as a last question to you, and it's more of a personal question. I believe that you have a passion for surfing and for travel. And what I see was that you originally wanted to be an accountant who could travel and surf extensively. Do you still have the same ambition?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm still mad about anything that's in the water, whether that's surfing, diving, fishing, or canoeing, or anything, to be honest, on the water. And travel is my greatest privilege. I mean, I've learned more from traveling than I did from any classroom or any university lecture hall. And I continue to learn so much through travel. And I think it's just getting out of your comfort zone, your bubble, and seeing the world through somebody else's eyes. And that context that you get from that allows you to think differently about what the future holds for you and your company. So it is my greatest privilege to travel. And when I do, I always try and ensure that I end up on the water somewhere, either with a surfboard or a fishing rod in my hand, or both, preferably. So yeah, it's still do a lot of it. And it's interesting as well. It comes back to my work and environment. I mean, Easy Equity is a digital business. It's online, 260 staff dispersed around the world. So out of our 260 staff, roughly 150 in South Africa and 110 everywhere else. 70 of those are in the Philippines. But we work in a remote world now. And the privilege that brings is just, I wish I was 25 and not 52, because literally our team get to work from where they want to work and work on the projects that fulfill them the most. And I just think that's a much better world that to operate in. And Easy Equities has been built for that world. And so I think it will retain its staff like me much longer than it would normally, because we've enabled a lifestyle around our work where the two don't feel like they're separated. I can honestly say work and life are just the same thing to me. There's no boundary. There's no 8 to 5. There's no Monday to Friday. It's all just living. And I think that's an important lesson as well, which I've only discovered post kind of the COVID world.
Yeah, I must say I've been very fortunate in my career in that I've had the privilege, as you say, of traveling the world quite extensively. And it really does open your eyes and opens up your thinking, exposure to different environments, different cultures, different people, different approaches to everything. And that certainly has been a wonderful learning opportunity. And it's something that I think all people, especially young people, should try and have as part of their education, because it does make a difference.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Charles Savage, it's been really wonderful chatting with you. And I sincerely want to wish you and the Purple Group well with your new acquisition. And we're very excited to see what comes out of that partnership and where that goes to in the future. Wishing you everything of the best.
Thanks very much, Greg, and thanks for having me on.